On today's episode, I am joined by Las Vegas entrepreneur Alexis Levi of the Alexis Levi Sports and Entertainment Group. Her career began in corporate America, which led her into the world of sports, where she's carved out a name for herself, including being the first African American woman to hold titles of owner and GM of a men's professional basketball team. She's a true example of drive, determination, and resilience, and I hope you are as inspired as I was after talking with her. Okay, hey Alexis, how you doing?
Hey.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining me today.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited
Yeah,
to be here.
Me too. I mean, I've read, we've talked a few times, obviously, and, reading everything about you, I was excited to sort of jump into this interview and do some research and put together some questions that I found very fascinating, just everything you've been doing, and just want to dive into it because I think there's a lot of people listening could learn from your career trajectory and apply to their own selves because you've done a lot.
Yes, I love when people apply it. I try to be inspirational and I try to be very open. So feel free to ask me whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm starting at the top. How did it all start for you? So, it looks like you've worn these hats in sports and entertainment, from owning a pro basketball team to managing artists and athletes. But it started for you in Hayward, California.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, like what sparked the drive to take on sort of like all these challenging but yet exciting roles?
Well, it's funny because a lot of people ask me that, so I know the perfect answer for that for you. Okay. I was born in a little town by the name of Castro Valley, and it's connected to Hayward. My parents moved out there and they were entrepreneurs. My dad was an entrepreneur. My mom wasn't. She was a stay-at-home mom when I was little. I'm an only child. So two things happened. I am at my house with my family, and my dad decides that necessarily he doesn't want a boy, but because he loves sports, he loved to have me watch sports with him, right? And I started really loving it, and then he passed away when I was 10. And so it was sort of a thing that we had tied together. It was a way that I remembered some of the times with him. And so I just started getting really into sports at the time as well. But most people don't know, I played basketball myself. And then I also was a competitive ice skater. And so most people don't know that. You got some extra facts there.
In California, of all places, right?
In California. Yep, exactly. In California.
So then you came out to Vegas. How long after? Was it after high school? Was it after college?
Actually, it was a long time after. I lived in California for my whole life. I raised my kids. I was married. I was a sports mom.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then all of a sudden one night my kids were talking. Our house was a house that had 3 boys in it normally, but 3 ended up being 9 a lot of times, right?
Sure.
Because I was a cool mom.
Yep.
Right. So they were talking about how the coaches were treating them. We had basketball players as my son's friends, football players, baseball players. We were kind of like that family, right? And so we were talking one day and they told me how the coaches made them feel bad, how the coaches were kind of talking to them inappropriately, saying inappropriate things, yelling at them and things like that. Well, that didn't settle too good with me because I had really great experiences when I was playing sports. Okay. And when I played basketball, I had a great coach. When I was ice skating, I had 2 very amazing coaches that were from Russia. Okay. And everybody got along. Everybody looked out for each other. Everybody was there for a common goal. And it wasn't to get rich. It was just to succeed, right? Mm-hmm. So because of that, it was kind of made me feel bad for the boys. And so that night, they told me, they said, if you were our coach, this was the words, if you were our coach, we would play for you. Because even though you might, get after us a little bit, want us to stay in line and be good, you also care about us, okay? And that night, I started studying and looking. I said, okay, a team. Okay, I can't own an NBA team because that's $500 million, right? I'm doing pretty good for myself, but that's a lot of money, right? So then I decided to call on the International Basketball League. And when I called on them and a couple of other leagues around the world, I really liked them the best. And so I put 2 guys in front of me still. Because I just didn't think the world was ready for a woman at that level. Because what most people don't know, I was a general manager. So general manager means I go on the road with the players. I'm hiring and firing everybody. I pay everybody's salaries, you know. So I wasn't sure they were ready for a woman, especially not this woman. Okay. The good thing that happened was the two gentlemen that I brought forward with me. One was an attorney and the other was the head of the Hall of Fame. And it was a weird series where we were all trying to get this thing done. And then all of a sudden they turned on me and they started telling the commissioner that they could do it without me and things like that. I didn't even know this was going on. And then all of a sudden I get a call from the commissioner and he tells me what's going on. And he says, I don't like any of that kind of stuff within our league. So I'm going to give the team to you. Wow. I was just like, what? So anyway, it was pretty amazing.
Wow. Okay. So that was like your first, okay, I can do this, right? And you sort of ventured into different, avenues from there. ProBaller Magazine. Okay. Yes. And ProBallerMagazine.com. So
yes.
How did you sort of envision these platforms of showcasing like the stories of the professional athletes and their journeys, and like how important, maybe through your upbringing and with your kids yourselves as a coach, the importance of sharing these stories with the world?
Well, I mean, I look at things a little differently. I've been an entrepreneur a long time, and I'm always trying to look for a niche that somebody's not talking about or a story that somebody's not telling. I really like a magazine called Rob Report, and I don't know if you know what that magazine is, but it has some pretty neat things in there, and it has nice, cars and nice this and nice that. But they always pretty much talk about the corporate executive, right? So I said that would be kind of nice to do something like that and talk about the athlete, talk about the places they like to go, they like to frequent, restaurants they like to go to, cars they like to drive, and things of that nature. And of course, I'm in Vegas, so I see these things all the time, just like you do over in California. So I decided that that's the route we were going to go. And I didn't know it was going to be successful. We've now been publishing for a couple of years and people really like it. And I was going to stop it. And they said, no, let's distribute it even further. So there's some great things which we can talk about that are going on right now, that everything is going to fall right in line with everything that's been done in the past, now being done in the future.
Yeah, I think Robert ROBB report just bought Dirt, which is like a celebrity real estate, sort of, it was a website where they would sort of showcase new properties that celebrities buy and sell. So now that's under that family. So that's how I knew about it.
That's how you know about it.
Yeah.
Well, I know I was talking to Josh Flagg, and so I'm sure he'll be in there. You'll be in there. A lot of good people that are in the LA area will be in there.
Yeah, and part of one of the things that I was reading about you is this sort of role you have with the Las Vegas chapter of the Sports Philanthropy Network, and how do you see like this philanthropy intersecting with this sports world and the impact it can have on the communities and the individuals themselves?
Well, Joe, I was sitting at home one day and I kind of reinvent myself. I put myself in different places that I feel is going to be a strength for sports. Sports is still the bottom line, right? And people who know me know that it's really important to me. I mean, my son and I do a sports camp every year at UNLV during summer league, right? I'm always commenting or trying to add advice or coaching to people that are in the sports industry. I've been in it now since 2007. So I was looking at TV one night. I'll tell you a funny story. I was looking at TV one night and I was thinking, I saw this movie and the young lady was doing something really amazing to give back. And I was like, okay, I've been doing all this different stuff and we do give back. We give money to different kids groups and things like that, right? But I was like, I need to do something more. So I was sitting up there thinking that, and about 2 days later, I got a call from Roy Kessel was an attorney who started this group. And they have it in like 15 states now. And now they're opening up another 10 states, right? And Las Vegas just happened to be the one. And when he first called me, I said he wanted me to be a part of the leadership council because every one of them have a leadership council, sort of like a board, right? And I was like, yeah, I want to do that. I think I would like to do that, right? And then all of a sudden, there's this little voice in the back of my head says, you should run the organization. And I speak quiet. right? Don't give me anything else
Another
to
task,
do,
yeah,
right?
another job.
But after I thought about it, I said, who better than me to run this organization in Las Vegas? I know all the entities here. I used to work with the Raiders and the A's back in the Bay Area, which is where I'm from. I work with them here. I know this, the Knights, and I was thinking all these people I know that I could enlist to come and be a part of this and really make Vegas one of the strongest groups. So the rest was history. I said yes, and they were ecstatic, and now we are moving forward. As a matter of fact, I got a call 2 days ago, and they told me, they said, well, we want you to lead the NFL alumni event, fundraising event in Vegas for the Super Bowl. I'm like, oh my gosh,
I want to come.
So it's been really amazing. Yeah, my life's been amazing. I can't even say it hasn't been.
Another thing that I've read about you is you're in talks with investors, and I don't know how much of this you can talk about, but a land potential for a possible hotel in this city.
Yes.
If possible, is there a glimpse that you could give as to what this hotel might look like and how it sort of could revolutionize the hospitality industry?
Yes, I can give a little bit, but not too much. We're in talks, yes, about 2 pieces of land here in Las Vegas. The exciting thing that I guess, I don't know, it just kind of came up in my brain. These things come in my brain. I don't understand where they come from sometimes, but they do. And I was looking at owning the NBA team here. That's really why I came here. Okay. I wanted to have the team that I had, and when the NBA was ready to make it an NBA team or to bring in an NBA team, I wanted to be a part of it. Well, I am a part of the process right now, so it's pretty exciting because there's 2 entities here that are looking to build an arena, and they're kind of going against each other to see which one's going to win and which one's going to get the NBA team, right? Mm-hmm. So I said to myself, well, I'm going to be a part of it, but I won't be the full owner, which is what I wanted to be. So I've been talking to investors about building a hotel here to sort of support what they're doing with the teams, right? All of the teams, not just the basketball teams. And so the actual hotel would have lots of memorabilia. It would have the pictures of athletes. It would have the, Tom Brady room, the Steph Curry room, that type of thing. And the exciting thing about that for me is I'm just creating it as I go. I'm like, okay, what would I want to see? And what would I want, if I had something that was all sports, I would want to see Messi and I would want to see Ronaldo. And I would, I kind of have this mindset of this whole global thing rather than just a Las Vegas thing or a US thing. Okay. Mm-hmm. Because I had the opportunity, as you know, my son was a player for 9 years overseas. So when I would go overseas, I really realized that there was a lot of big stars over there that weren't really talked about as much over here, right? Few of them, but not as many, right? And so I was thinking, gosh, that would be kind of cool to have, a global aspect of it, especially ones that we know, here in the U.S. So it's pretty exciting, what's happening. And there's just doors opening and things happening. And, we've been talking to the folks that built a lot of the properties here in Las Vegas. So we know that that won't be a problem. It's just the finances. It'll be about $3 billion. Okay. So, most things are very expensive here. The land is expensive in Vegas. So, we've got to work on that. But other than that, I'm really excited about it. I already have a name, but I can't tell you. No. And, so it'll be coming out sometime. More information will come out more in 2024.
Yeah, that's exciting. And you've had this sort of journey from, boardroom to locker room. How did your experiences, and I know you touched on this a little bit about the perspective, you being a female and the opportunities for both men and women in the industry, but how did those experiences sort of shape your perspective on that? Do you feel that there's still issues? Do you feel that it's gotten better?
It's better. It's better. I'll tell you, when I first took on this team, there was no women. There was maybe one woman that had invested in a team. I did an interview with Serena Williams and a lady by the name of, I can't think of her first name, Sheila Johnson. Her and her husband owned BET, and then she purchased a lot of different things after that, hotels and what have you, right? And when I did that, it was even, she said, she goes, I bought into a team, but I don't go on the road with them. She said, that's a whole nother horse of a different color. So anyway, there was really not a lot of women that I could mirror or look across at. you know. But now we've got women that are like Mark Cuban. He has a woman that runs his whole establishment with the Dallas Mavericks. Okay. There's now women coaches in the NBA. There's women referees in the NBA. There's women doing sideline reporting and even in the studios at ESPN. So I feel like at least, you know, there's more people getting involved, you know, and even from the football side, Melly Hobson. Melly Hobson, who's married to George Lucas. Okay. She just bought into I think the Denver Broncos. You know, yeah. So more and more people are becoming owners. More and more people are getting involved. More women are stepping out and being a little bit more comfortable with it. It was really tough for me. I'll tell you. I can tell you some stories that left me in my hotel room crying because it was just things that were said, things that were done, maybe different rules for my team than the other teams, and me being the only female. And then when I started getting publicity, I made history doing what I did. And then Pepsi came and recognized me and put me on magazines and in different situations. I loved it, but I had a hard time because that made me then stand out even more from the men. And so that was a little tough on me. But you know me now, I have a pretty thick skin. So, you know, if I had to be the one to be a little beat up and to open up doors, then I think that's it. Now I'm on a mission. I'll let you know. I really want the WNBA to be paid better.
Right.
They're excellent players. You know, I was a player in high school and college, and it's not easy. And what the Las Vegas Aces are doing right now, coming back to back and potentially winning the championship again, it's not easy. You know, and so it's like I want them to be paid better. So I've been talking to some of my investors, some of the people that I know financially that could make a difference, even if they made a difference across the board and just put more into the league. Right now, they are generating about $200 million a year. So it's getting better. Yeah. You know, they're not as high as the guys, but they're getting better.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that'd be great. I mean, and you know, speaking of the recognition, I know you mentioned Pepsi. Ebony Magazine had recognized you as one of America's most influential African-American people and a top up-and-comer, if I recall correctly.
Yes, that's correct.
How did you like leverage this influence, right, to go in and, you know, if you did, are there women that you work with or other athletes, younger female executives that you sort of inspire or mentor in any ways?
Yeah, I do. I think I'm one of the open books out there. You know, I wrote the story of my life so people know it wasn't, you know, easy. I remember when I first started, people said, is she married to Byron Scott? Is she married to this one? Is she married to that? They just thought I was married to one of the athletes, and I was never, right? Yeah. So for me, it's been really important to be not only inspirational, but to motivate people to go for what they want, and then also to be a resource. One of the good things about me is I worked in Silicon Valley for 7 years. I mean, I'm not just basketball. I'm business more so than basketball. So a lot of people want to be business and they don't understand how to do it, and they purchase things, and sometimes it turns out not to be the best investment. So what I do is a lot of times people will call me and ask me, you know, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And then my company has done really well. We started out being managers or agents, and then all of a sudden it just started to grow. You know, companies, leagues, there's the rain, companies and leagues and things of that nature would call us and ask us to be a part of something, or bring investors, or, you know, look at somebody's business plan and see if we could get the right board or the right strategic partners and things like that. So I really pride myself in being that girl who has major relationships almost in every industry. And so wherever somebody's going, I kind of know how to direct them.
Right, right. Well, you briefly mentioned a book. Is that The Hidden Secrets of Success? The book you...
Yeah, I'm still working on that. Yeah. I haven't released that yet because I got it to a certain point, and then all of a sudden I go, wait a minute, I'm missing some pieces.
Okay.
So I got those pieces together now, and it'll come out in 24.
Oh, very cool. So that'll be
it's Lance. It's a totally different. It's not your usual business book. I really talk deeply about things that happen along the way that I see, so that somebody else, if they see that, they'll know that, oh no, don't need to go down that road. I need to go down this road or whatever, you know? So we talk about different levels of business, the different people you come in contact with, the different people that will try to drain your energy, or either those that will give you energy, and how to really make sure that you've got all your ducks in order, that you have a good understanding of where you're going and what you're doing.
Yeah, like navigating through the world of
Yeah,
business.
that's the hard part. You know, if you have your knowledge, then it's one thing, right? But then you got to navigate the sharks, the waters, the, you know, the alligators and everything else. Yeah. Oh, yeah. While still looking good and doing it, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but your confidence, right?
yeah, still having confidence. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the Summer League Jam basketball event, the Global Winter Wonderland events that you've been involved with?
Yes.
When you get into this world of events, how do these contribute to the community? You know, are they there sort of like, do you see a promoting of unity and passion for sports? Is there more to it than that? How does that sort of aspect work in your life?
Well, we deal with everything. I mean, even though I'm a sports person, sports intersects with entertainment. Sports intersects because we started doing international clients. So the international clients come because they have a specific thing they want to do with Vegas. And so what I did, after seeing that first one, which is the Global Winterland, one of the things I saw when I was overseas is that people want to do business in Vegas, but Vegas is a different place. You know, you just can't walk in and do business. I did that, and I don't think it was the best route. I think I should have asked the mayor for approval and all those things. But I was from California, so in California, you don't really ask permission. There's too many people, right? But here it's a smaller area. It's 3 million people, you know, a very high net worth area, you know, with all the casinos and all of that, you know, billions of dollars go through there here a week. Okay. So people want to do business with that. They want to come here and bring their widget or their show or whatever the case is and see if they can try to make a go of it. Right. So I started a program called Access Las Vegas. And so the Winter Wonderland came through that particular project. We're in a foreign country. We want to do business with Las Vegas. How do we do it? Okay. They partnered with my company. I went in, I was their voice. I went in, negotiated the deals, did the contracts with them and everything like that. And they brought an amazing show here. They were here for a whole month, and people in the holiday time were able to go see all these beautiful lights and beautiful, you know, things that they create. And it was amazing.
So those, the events that, do you find that to be just as rewarding, just as exciting as the live games, or is it all kind of like different sort of projects that you have
love
a special?
You know, I worked for several organizations over the years, and one of my roles, was to do events, was to put on an amazing event so that people want to come back next year, right? Yeah. Whether it's a game or it's a, you know, dinner, you know, it doesn't matter to me. I really love doing that. Yeah. And so with this, I didn't have to do a whole lot. They already had something really amazing. They just needed a location. And with Vegas, sometimes locations can be easy to get and sometimes not, especially if you haven't been here before. Okay. So we act as that liaison in between them. Okay. Gotcha. As far as the Summer League, now this was amazing. I got to tell you about this. The Summer League Jam came up. I was at home. My son was playing for Italy at the time. I told him we should do a camp. And we should do a camp at Summer League because everybody's in town. And what it allowed us to do is allowed us to bring a Hall of Famer in, Rick Barry. It allows us to bring Takara, I can't think of her last name right now, WNBA player, right? I think it's Wilson. Brought in GMs and coaches from overseas. And, you know, the kids really just, I mean, had an amazing experience, more than what we had even planned, right? And in the morning time, we had the little kids so that they would be able to play. And then we had the grade school. Then we went to high school. Then we had the college players in the afternoon. And then we had the people that were looking to go professional in the evening. Okay. And then we each, because we kind of partnered with the Summer League, we were able to take, you know, the players over there so they could actually see the real players. Yeah. And so that was really exciting for them.
Oh, I bet. That could be amazing.
Yeah.
So like,
right?
Yeah, like, so it sounds like you have this sort of advocacy for children in sports and making sure they're supported and that they have opportunities, you know.
I do, you know, what happened, what made me like that is when we were on the road, because our team traveled the nation. It was the only team in the IBL that traveled both coasts. Okay. So we went as far as Michigan and Florida, and we went as obviously to Arizona, California, things like that. Right. So one of the things that I really was touched my heart was little kids would run up to me, okay, and their parents would come up, and some of the little kids had never been to a basketball game. They were there watching the Arizona team or they were watching the Colorado team, but they'd never been to a camp. So I always said if I had the opportunity to do a camp, I would put it together and kids would be able to come from wherever, and we give so many scholarships and we keep our price reasonable so the parents could afford it. And so we had about 300 kids.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
300
not
kids and a little older. So
right.
it was pretty good. Yeah,
So
it was
then,
pretty good.
well, then how would you envision like, for kids shaping, being a part of shaping the future in sports for youth? Like, is there advice you would have for like a young athlete trying to make a mark in the industry, female, male, whatever sport? What
Yeah.
sort of guidance do you sort of offer or advice you would give?
Well, funny you should ask that.
Okay.
um, I try to give the kids advice to go for what they are trying to do. I had two sons. My oldest son is 6'8". My youngest son is 6'3". The 6'8", he played in the States, but we got him the tools that we needed to get him, the help, because neither one of them were perfect coming off the, off the house into a basketball court. They weren't born like that. But they focused, they were driven, they practiced, they did what they needed to do, and both of them became really good players. My younger son was the one that decided he wasn't going to play for the NBA, and he was going over. He had a tryout with Jason Kidd, the
Oh,
Milwaukee Bucks,
okay.
and they didn't pick him up quick enough. He said, "Mom, I'm gone," and he went overseas, and he became a big star over there, and made great money, bought a home, did all the things that people want to do. So I always say, don't limit yourself. Get information about everything. I have little things that I want to do before I get too old, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one of the things that we're doing right now is we're creating a website. We're creating an opportunity for athletes to showcase themselves online by their bio, by their video, by their stats, so that coaches can find them. Because right now, coaches can't go to every school. They
Right.
find the people that everybody's talking about. Okay. And sometimes, unfortunately, I'm still always the advocate. Sometimes they're the ones that people that are on the inside are talking about, but it's only because they don't know the other players because they've never seen them. And I mean, look at Steph Curry. He went to a very small school and look at where he is right now. No one would have ever thought that. Okay. But he was given the opportunity and he succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
So what my goal is to level the playing field a little bit, not to take anything away from those kids that they're already looking at, but kind of find some kids and young adults that could go play pro, or they'd want to be a football player, and maybe they'll play for the AFL instead of the NFL, right? Our thing is the opportunity. We can level the playing field, we can give exposure and give an opportunity, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, as long as they can get that, the exposure is probably amazing for most people because they never get it otherwise, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, unless you are in an area that you have all the top schools and somebody knows you, or you played AAU, or you played in the football camps and somebody spotted you, that's how you get discovered. And other than that, you could be a good player in a small school and no one ever look at you.
Right.
Steph Curry got looked at because his dad was a player.
Sure.
Okay. I mean, not everybody's walking around like that,
Right.
that has a family member that was already, successful in that sport. So we want to give some exposure, and we're going to do it on a national level, and we're pretty excited about what we're creating.
Yeah.
And we're going to open some doors for people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and speaking of doors, how about when it comes to people, like, say someone listening to this is like, okay, I'm 5'6", I'm whatever, but I would love to be involved in the world of sports, right?
Oh yeah,
Like
there's all kinds of things.
like what advice would you give someone in that capacity?
Well, I went to a school called Sports Management Worldwide. When I felt like I wanted to get in sports, I didn't want to go back to the university. I was too old. I had kids, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to take the fast route.
Yeah.
So I did that. I went and I learned. And the great thing about Sports Management Worldwide is their classes are taught by actual athletes, actual general managers, actual player personnel. I mean, everybody who owns a position within the sports industry. So in any sport, you know, so they have, if you want to be a general manager, you can do it. If you want to be a coach, you can do it. If you want to be a agent, you can do it, right? So the good thing about that is you learn from the people that are actually doing it, and it made that's really what set me off. Once I got that, I wanted more, and I said, well, you know, I want to own a team. I don't want to just be an agent running around after the players. I want to be an owner and make some decisions and things like that. So you can do whatever you want to do. I mean, you do need some education. You do need a mentor. You know, I have interns that work with me. People are receptive to doing that in the sports industry, and if you do that, you'll find yourself in some doors that, you know, you would be happy to be in.
Right.
I mean, give you a quick story really quickly.
Sure.
My youngest son, who went overseas, his wife, I'm a grandmother
Oh,
now.
wow.
His wife had a baby, and he didn't want to go back overseas, right? He's like, I don't want to miss it. It's 14 hours for me to fly home, right? So his agent found out about his will, and he said, well, let me see what's out there. All of a sudden, he got a call from the Warriors to come be a coach. So last year, he was the coach of the Warriors G League team and the development coach for the main team.
Wow.
So he was the one rehabbing Steph Curry to get back on the court.
Oh, my gosh.
Amazing, right?
That is amazing.
Who would have known?
Yeah.
So then this year, his coach at University of South Dakota was as the head coach at that time. Here we are almost, I don't know, let's see, probably not quite 10 years, maybe like 7 years later. He is the head coach of the University of Utah, Utes.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
So he gives my son a job as the player personnel and assistant coach. So now that's what he's doing. Oh. So, you know, the stair steps happen. You know, you open your door, you play well. Maybe you don't go to the NBA, maybe you do, or the NFL, whatever. But you can always choose something in sports if you really like it. Mm-hmm. You know, and someone will help you make a way.
Yeah, there's something for everyone if you just kind of focus.
You can write, you can be a journalist.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm just a little nuts. I tell people, anything that I wanted to do, I created it. Well, so when you say, oh, ProBaller, well, I created it. So I didn't have to ask permission to write. That's what I wanted to do.
Well, that's what's, like, to me, the most, you know, the very intriguing about you is you don't really sit back and say, oh, I wish someone could tell me how to, blah. You just do it, you know, and you know what? I'm going to make it happen because no one else is going to do it for me. And I think, you know.
Right. I mean, you think about ESPN. Someone thought of that a long time ago, right?
Sure.
I mean, any of the things that are happening right now, someone thought of it and decided they were going to try it, and it worked. Mm-hmm. So I have that mindset, and I've trained my kids or raised them to feel the same way about things. Don't let anything hold them back. I think that was a saying that my dad used to say when I was a little girl. You know, don't let anything hold you back. Don't let the fact you're African American, a woman, or anything else. Just do what you want to do.
Which you're doing.
And so I live by that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like,
I live by that.
You know, you're still like, so it seems like you've accomplished so much, but it feels like you could go on another 60 years, right? Just continue.
Yeah.
Like, right. So, like,
I plan on it.
I don't doubt it, honestly. And, you know, but, like, is there like a legacy that you hope that when people remember your impact, like what would that look like to you?
Based on the things we've talked about so far, one thing obviously is, if she said she was going to do something, she did it, you know, and that's important. But I didn't just do it for my kids. I did it for everybody else's kids. I did it for people that are in the pros. I did it for people that wanted an opportunity. You know, I've sent players overseas. I pretty much have done almost everything that I would want to do other than owning an NBA team.
Well, there you go.
You know, that's a little harder, you know, but I'm sure I'll be involved with it. You know, in some form or fashion, maybe with a position, or maybe just one of the people that are, you know, in a board or whatever. I want people to realize that they can do the same thing. I don't feel like I'm so special. I just feel like I'm relentless and don't stop.
Yeah.
That's really, truly, at the end of the day, what hurts most people is they stop right before it's going to hit. Okay. And I mean, even when I had the team, to let you know, I don't feel like the team, we won championships and stuff, but because I couldn't keep going after 4 years, my mom got real ill. So I went back to California to take care of her. But, you know, I feel like whatever it is that you want to do, you know, take the time to figure it out. I mean, you're doing podcasts, there's other people doing whatever they do. And, you know, I think it's great, you know, and I think that's something that we just have to understand, that we have to do something. Mm-hmm. We can't just sit, you know, we got to leave a legacy. We got to do something for other people. And when it's time to stop, I'll stop. Not anytime soon, though.
I would have to say, I don't think that's coming
anytime soon.
So
yeah.
My last question for you is if someone wants to find out how to connect with you, what would be the best places?
Oh, call the office.
Call your office?
Yeah, my office is Alexis Levi Sports and Entertainment Group, mm-hmm. and it's 702-789-0749. Okay, lots of people call me. Yeah. and I try to answer everybody. I can't answer everybody at one time sometimes, but I do answer. And, you know, at least listen to people, what they're trying to do. Some people are trying to help their children. Some people are doing other things, you know, business-wise. And I like to hear it all.
That's awesome.
You know, because there might be something I can do to help.
Yeah. You seem like you just have such a bandwidth, which it's kind of mind-blowing, but you just seem to be able to take on so much, and you don't seem stressed. You just seem like, okay, like I'll make it happen.
Right now I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
When you're running a whole team, yeah, there was a lot of stress.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, you know, you've got 15 people, or actually 17 people that you're taking on the road every couple of days. And, you know, not everybody gets along. And,
a lot of juggling.
You know, it's just, and they have life things going on, you know, so it's like, oh my God. But other than that, I am pretty level-headed. I'm willing to talk to people. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of times people think of me. They go, she'll talk to you. She may not can't help you do everything, but she'll at least hear you out. And so I like being that person.
And sometimes that's all someone needs.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
It's very hard for people breaking in just to get that initial, hey, like I don't even know anyone. And
well, I was there. Yeah. I was that person. I didn't know what to do. I had to get on the phone, figure it out. You know, some people told me to go right, some people told me to go left, and I just had to figure out which way was going to be best for me. Mm-hmm. You know, I had a lot of people along the way ask me to speak at events and do different things that, you know, I love doing. And I love telling my story. And now the story's being made into a movie, so it's going to be exciting. And I just think that, you know, you just got to be, sometimes you can't be available for everybody, but you be as available as you possibly can.
Sure.
You know, I had a little girl that was so sweet. She called me and asked me, could she do her school report on me? You know,
that's cute.
And I mean, other people that may feel like they're celebrities would be like, oh, I don't have time. I'm too busy. But I feel like any kid that I can touch, any person that I can touch, you know, I'm going to touch it, you know, as much as I can.
Yeah.
And that's kind of who I am.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, listen, I appreciate you taking the time tonight and, you know, talking with me here. I learned a lot. Think you're amazing. I'm a fan. I would love to, you know, do this again once your additional projects, you know, come out and kind of check back in. If you
would love it.
Yeah, this has been great. And I'll make sure that everything, your company information is in the liner notes, but, you know, thank you again for taking the time tonight. And, I'm excited to watch, you know, the next
see what happens. Right?
Yeah. It's just like, it's a great ride, you know, that you've been on, and continuing that will be just fun to watch.
It is a great ride. And don't forget my email, because I read my emails too.
Yeah, no, I'll put that in the notes for anyone that wants to reach out. And, you know, thank you again, and we will do it again in the future.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I've enjoyed meeting with you and enjoying your audience, and I hope they love it.
Thanks, Alexis.
Thank you.